talking about the loss of spouse. The loss of spouse, whether as a result of death or divorce, present many adjustment problems for middle-aged man or woman. But especially for the woman, the middle-aged woman whose husband dies or who was divorced experience extreme feelings of loneliness. This is intensified by frustrations of the normal sexual desires, which are far from dormant, and by economic problems that are inevitable when the family breadwinner no longer provides for the family. The man whose wife dies or who is divorced experiences a disruption in his pattern of living unless a relative can manage the home for him. A woman as a widow or divorced, the middle-aged, often must give up her home, go to work, and live very different from the way she did when her husband was alive or before her divorce. The woman alone also encountered social complications which men do not face. She may be reluctant to go by herself, and the problem of entertainment is likewise awkward. The effect of loss of spouse differ according to a cause of loss, death, or divorce. This will be discussed separately. So, loss by divorce or loss of spouse as a result of divorce affect middle-aged people very differently, depending primarily upon when wanted to divorce or who wanted the divorce. A woman whose husband divorced her to marry someone else will have different reaction from those of women who found their marriage intolerable and as a result initiated to divorce herself. This matter will be discussed in more detail later in connection with the hazard of middle age. The problem middle-aged men and women face when they are divorced are similar in most aspects to those faced by young adults and described in detail in blogs. However, there are two problems that are especially serious for middle-aged women: social activities and economic well-being. For divorced women, social problems are even harder to cope with than they are for those who are widowed. Not only may the divorced woman be included from social activities, but even worse, she often loses old friends. While some will remain her friends, many will ostracize her or rally around her husband as a good is explained. The many middle-aged women face after divorce is economic. Unless they have reality marketable skills that they have kept up to date during their years of child rearing, they will find it difficult to get jobs that pay enough to enable them to support themselves and any children who are still at home unless they receive adequate alimony from their ex-husband. However, today there is a growing tendency for alimony to be given by a courts for fixed and short periods rather than for life or until wife remarries. This can be usually does have devastating effect in middle-aged women. Loss by death, except when death follows a long and terminal illness, like evidence to and acknowledged by all that death was inevitable. Most middle-aged men and women go through a very predictable course of grief. This course, as Conroy has pointed out, has four stages: tears numberness, when the individual is unable to cross. Middle-aged women do not make satisfactory adjustment to widowhood, as shown by the fact that as a group, they are considered high risk for mental illness and for the use of escape measures, such as drugs and alcohol. This effect, it has been found, are not due to grief first so much as to circumstances associated with widowhood, such as economic status, loneliness, opportunities for outside interest, and place of residence. And also, remarriage middle-aged men and women who lost their spouse due to divorce or death make reasonable, satisfactory adjustment to being single after a period of time. However, most tend to be lonely and consequently they decide to remarry or to cohabit. Some middle-aged men and women, especially those who live in urban areas, prepare cohabitations to remarriage after divorce of death or spouse. Let's proceed to the common problems of widowhood. First, with problems. Some widows are financially better off than they are during their married lives, but they ain't the exception to the rule. Unless a man has built up sizable estate and has secured a large life insurance policies, the widow finds herself in greatly reduced economic circumstances when her husband's earnings come to an end. With ever-increasing inflations, what widows receive in inheritance is frequently far from adequate for their needs. Even when a widow starts to work in a middle age, she usually cannot earn enough to maintain the standard of living she has become accustomed to. Economic challenges faced by widows include reduced income, insufficient inheritance or life insurance, inflation eroding savings, limited earning potential, increased expenses like healthcare, household, and maintenance. The consequences of economic problem is poverty or financial strain, reduced standard of living, stress and anxiety, limited access to healthcare or necessities, and also social isolation. Coping strategies and economic problem is seek financial counseling, budget and prioritize expenses, explore assistance program like Medicaid, food stamps, and also consider education and training for employment and support group for low-income widows. There's a tips of economic problem. One is plan ahead if possible, communicate with family and friends, prioritize self-care, seek professional advice, explore government assistance program. The second one is because social life among the middle-aged, as is true of young adults, is fair-oriented. A widow soon discovered that there is no place for her among married couples unless there happens to be a widower who is invited to social gathering to pair off with her. Most of a widow's social life is centered around activities with other women. If she is economically handicapped, a widow is unable to participate in many community social organizations such as clubs. Widows often face social challenges include fair-oriented social events, limited inclusion in marriage, couple social circles, economic constraints, and reduced participation in community activities. The common social issues are social isolation, loneliness, loss of identity, stigma, or pity. The coping strategies of social problem is join women-centric groups like book clubs or volunteer work. And also attend widow support groups, engage in hobbies or classes, online communication and forums, build relationship with friends, family, and neighbors. Financial counseling, explore assistance program like medication, food stamp. Consider education or training for employment support group for low-income widows. Remember, you're not alone. Your identity extends beyond your relationship status. Community and support are available. Focus on personal growth and well-being. The third one is family problems. If there are children still at home, a widow must play the roles of both mother and father and must face all the problems of one-parent home described earlier. Then, two, there are often problems related to member of a husband family, especially if they were not congenial with the wife during the husband's lifetime. Widows with children at home face additional challenges like parenting solo as managing emotion and behaviors, balancing discipline and nurturing, role model of both parents' roles, increased responsibility and stress. Interacting with husband family is potential conflict or tension, different values, beliefs, or parenting styles, and it can make boundary settings and communication. Navigation in lows emotional needs. The tips of family problem is be patient and flexible. Allow yourself to grind. Foster open communication. Prioritize self-care and seek support. Remember, every family experience is unique. Focus on building resilience and seeking help when needed. Practical problems. Trying to run a household alone after being used to help of husband with fixing appliances, cutting the grass, shoveling snows, or etc. present many practical problems for every widow. Unless she has children who help her with these tasks or is able to do them herself, she will be forced to pay or also have an added strain on an already strained budget. Widow often faces practical challenges in managing household responsibilities alone. Here are some specific issues and potential solutions. Challenges maintaining and repairs like appliances, plumbing, electrical, and sexual problems. Because the sex drive is far from dormant during middle age. Widows who enjoy a satisfactory sexual life during their marriages now feel frustrated and deprived. Some cope with this problem by having affairs with single or married men, by cohabiting or by remarrying. Others continue to feel frustrated and deprived or engage in authoritative sexual practices. There are discussions about issues faced by widows during middle age. Losing a partner can significantly impact one's sexual and emotional well-being. Here's the background. Challenges of sexual problem is emotional loneliness, decreased sexual fulfillment, social stigma around dating or seeking new relationship, and also potential guilt or loyal conflict. Remember, every individual's experience is unique. There's no one-size-fits-all solutions. Last and not the least is residential problems. Where widow will live depends usually upon two conditions. First, her economic status, and second, whether she has anyone to live with her. Many widows are forced to give up their homes because their economic condition does not enable them to maintain them. In such cases, they must move into smaller quarters or live with married children. If their health prevents them from living alone, they may be forced to move into retirement home or pay for a companion to live with them in their own homes or lives with married child. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching and I hope you learned something.